All right, back at it into the rabbit hole once again. We are coming back with one of my favorite decks of all time. I have grown to really love this deck, and this is going to be the updated version after the brand new support has come out quite a while ago now. But this is going to be my Nouvelle list. I love this deck, man. It's just such a great time. Every single time I play it, I have such a good time with it. And I think it's still really strong. I think it's very consistent. There's a lot of great starters, a lot of great synergy with the deck, and with the most recent support, it kind of opens up for a little bit more of a different kind of package to be tossed into this deck that really just allows it to shine and get up some really powerful bull. So without further ado, we're just going to start top left, bottom right. We're going to get into it, just talk about the cards real quick and kind of like breeze through this, get to the rank section. And before we get into that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that stuff. By the time that this is uploaded, it will be Christmas Eve, and we won't have anything on Christmas Day as usual because I try to upload on Wednesdays. So happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully you guys have a great holiday. All right, let's get into it. 2 Droll and Lockbird. It's just a very useful hand trap for this deck. 2 Maxine. Yep. Diviner of the Herald. We have talked about this card plenty of times before, but it's just the go-to normal summon. You want to normal summon this thing. Use its effect to send something from the extra deck out. You have lots of targets. You have lots of things here that you want to send to the graveyard to get this thing to kick off its effect. Most of the time, you're going to send Herald of the Arclight or Trias Hierarchia to get out your... I'm not going to say these names. Just putting this out there. Poissonier. We'll do that one. 3 Ash Blossom, just another hand trap of choice. Dogmatica Maximus. This will allow you to abuse your extra deck and kind of like also pop out and see what your opponent's playing when you're using this first turn. But it basically, you can banish a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link to special summons from your hand. You can send 2 monsters with different names from both extra decks to the graveyard, but you cannot special summon cards from the extra deck. That's fine. We don't care about that. We want to send away our Heralds. We want to send away our Garuras. We want to send away our Tri-Brigade. We want to send away whatever we need to at the time that benefits you. Like if you need to re-roll your hand a little bit, send this. If you need to draw that 1 extra card, send this. If you need to search something specific, you send this. You need to pop something off the field, say you're going second, you send this. Say you need to negate something on board, you send this. Like this card just helps activate your places. It helps get you going. 1 Trias Hierarchia. This was another card that was just recently featured in another ritual deck list of mine. But basically, it just allows you to be sent into the graveyard to tribute Diviner of the Herald so it can come out onto the field to activate Diviner of the Herald's effect to get Passioneer out into the field because this is a fairy monster. Passioneer is here. This is another one of your normal summon targets. On summon, you can get a 1 level 1 ritual monster or a recipe card. While it's in your pendulum zone, you can target one of your Nouvelle monsters and special summon it and change that monster's battle position. Or, I'm sorry, target 1 monster on the field. Now, Nouvelle's big gimmick, if you are new to this archetype, is that when cards are targeted on the board, they tribute themselves or other cards on the field to tribute attack position monsters. So they can special summon new dishes from the deck, basically ritual climbing. So Passioneer is one of your main go-tos. You put this thing in the pendulum zone, you target a card on the field, whether it has to be a Nouvelle, sometimes they need the lower levels need themselves to be targeted, or something else on the board to do what you need to do to special summon this out so you can do some other plays. When this card is tributed while it's on the field, you can put it into a pendulum zone face up, where it's going to be face up always. But this is like the main meat of the deck. These 2 are your normal summon targets. You want these 2 at all times. Chef is one of the more recent cards, and it's very interesting. You kind of don't want to see this all too much, but you do want to see it just enough, so we play it at 2. So when you place it in your pendulum zone, if it was activated in your pendulum zone that turn, during the main phase, you can add 1 non-pendulum Nouvelle card from your hand. If your opponent special summons a monster to the field, you can special summon this card straight from the pendulum zone. If this card is tributed, just like Passioneer, you can put it back into a pendulum zone. While it's on the field, this is a quick effect. You can target 1 effect monster on the field and increase its level by 3. We're kind of going over Chef in like everything, just because like he's very specific of what he does and what he does for the deck. So like we have to make sure that we understand everything that Chef does here. Now, once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can banish 1 ritual recipe from your hand, deck, or graveyard, apply that card's activation effect that ritual summons a monster. So basically, if they activate something and you got a card in hand, you can use their effect activation to ritual summon a monster by banishing a recipe ritual spell from anywhere. This is a very niche but very nice effect if Chef is still face up on the field. But we play this card at 2. You don't want to see it too much. It's a little on the bricky side, but it does help you search out what you need. So to kind of make this go a little quicker, all the Nouvelle ritual monsters will level up either into 1 level ahead of them or 2 levels ahead of them. So for example, this one will either go into the 2 or 3. Conferus will go into either the 3 or the 4. Poeltis will either go into the 4 or the 5. And then Foy will either go into the 5 or the 6. This is the only one that goes straight into the 6. Just to make this a little bit simpler. But these 2 cards here, Muerla Base and Conferus, must be targeted themselves for their effects to kick off, and they have to tribute themselves. Anything else, these 2 cards here, Poeltis and Foy, can have any card on the field targeted and tribute 1 face-up attack position monster and 1 face-up attack position monster your opponent controls to get their effect. They don't have to tribute themselves. Bala Munir is just a quick effect. If it's special summon from a Nouvelle effect, it just pops up off the field. Pop an attack position monster and then brings out Battle Girl, and then we'll get to Battle Girl when we get there. When this card is ritual summon, you can search your excavate the top 5 of your deck, grab a Nouvelle, add it to your hand. When this card is ritual summon, you can target a spell or trap on the field, destroy it. When this card is ritual summon, you can draw a card. When this card is ritual summon, you can choose up to 3 cards in either graveyards and shuffle it back to the deck. When this card is ritual summon, you can grab 1 Nouvelle or 1 recipe from your deck to your hand. I hope that's simplified it down so we can get through this just a little bit quicker as to what these cards do. We play 3, 1, 1, and 1. These 2 are the main ones that you want most of the time, but there's a lot of recursion with the deck, so you can get these cards back into the deck if you ever need them again. Now, Battle Girl. Battle Girl's effect is if this card is special summon, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Then if it was special summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle card, tribute as many monsters as your opponent controls. It has a quick effect to tribute an attack position monster to special summon out a Hungry Burger from your deck. We don't play base Hungry Burger. We play Angry Burger. And Angry Burger is always treated as a Hungry Burger card. So it is targetable by Battle Girls, and it is targetable by Chef's special recipe, which specifies Hungry Burger down at the bottom. So we only play this out of 1. And since it's a ritual monster, it's something that we can recursion back into the deck if we ever get this thing to the graveyard. But going on to Angry Burger is basically Illusion of Chaos for this deck. You can just reveal it, grab a Nouvelle from Nouvelle monster, a Nouvelle monster from your deck, add it to your hand, and then shuffle it back into the deck. This is another one of your real great starters. It helps you fish out for what you need. Pre-preparation of rights, we play this at a 3. It just has your ritual spell and a ritual monster that mentions it, which could be either of these 2 cards because they are mentioned on our ritual cards here. 3, Nadir Servant. This is more the Dogmatica engine, but this lets you send a monster from the extra deck to search out a Dogmatica card. Nice and simple, straightforward, and this allows you to have more extra deck manipulation to search out what you need. Today's menu. This allows you to reveal 2 Nouvelles with different names. Your opponent chooses which one to add to your hand. It could be any Nouvelle, but if you add a Beast Warrior ritual spell, you can add the Fish Recipe, which is this one here. And if they add a Warrior ritual monster, you can grab the Meat Recipe. So it's just, it makes you put your opponent in a pick your poison kind of scenario, but it is just more searching for the deck. We play 1 Nouvelle's Restaurant. I used to play this card at a 3. With all the new recent support and the fact that this thing is searchable by plenty of means, we could easily just cut this thing down to a 1. But unless you add a recipe from your deck to your hand, you can return a ritual monster from your hand to the bottom of the deck to draw a card. And at the end of the turn, you can target 2 cards, including a recipe, return them to the bottom of the deck, and then draw a card. Lots of drawing with this card. Very good. Great searching. Very broken card. 2 of your Fish Recipe. It is one of your ritual summon aspects, but if you ritual summon Muerla Base specifically, which is the level 1, you can search the Meat Recipe directly from your deck. We play 1 of the Meat Recipe, and if you special summon Conferus with this card, it changes all defense position monsters to attack position to set your Nouvelles up to start tributing them off the board. We play 1 of the new recipe books. That's This is a continuous spell. It automatically changes everything to face-up attack position if you control a Nouvelle card. Every time a ritual monster comes out, your opponent pays 850 life points. Then, if you special summon a ritual monster, you can target them to add a recipe or a Nouvelle from your deck, and then increase that monster's level by 1. This is the main point of this is to target the Nouvelles when they immediately come out, in order to get their effects off. Now, just be careful if you do use these cards here as tribute, and you activate them within the chain, you will block out Recipe Book from utilizing its effect. Just keep that in mind anytime that you're trying to use this card. If you want to get off these things effectively and you don't use either of the Pendulum monsters, you're fine. But if you use the Pendulum monsters, if you activate these cards after in the chain, you will block yourself from getting their target effects. So just keep that in mind when you are setting up your chain with the Recipe Book. 1 call by, 1 cross out, 3 of Concours. Now, this lets you choose a Nouvelle's Pendulum monster and a Patisseal Pendulum monster. Special summon them from the deck, extra deck, wherever. 1 to your field, 1 to your opponent's field. You want to send this to your opponent's field. This is just giving them an attack position monster, while you get to get out any of your Pendulum monsters here. While this card's in the graveyard, you can target a face-up monster, give it 200 attack per recipe card. This is just more targeting for your stuff. We play 2 Chef Special Recipe. If you control a Nouvelle ritual monster, this is an Omni negate. And then, if the cards that you would control were special summoned by a Nouvelle's effect, you can destroy the card that you use. Then, if Hungry Burger is special summoned to the field while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to tribute everything on board once again. So, this is lots of pressure with this card. And since it's searchable, we have a lot more means of searching it. We play this card at a 2, and then the personal staff, the staff recipe. This lets you target your Nouvelles to special summon tokens, and then it's also used as a backup ritual. You don't necessarily need to play this card. I just like having the additional targeting. Now on to the extra deck. We're going to kind of breeze through this a little bit because most of this is only in the extra deck to just be sent off of your effects, so we'll cover that briefly. We have 1 Elder Entis. When this is sent, you can just destroy a card on the field. 1 Garura. When this is sent, you can draw a card. Patisseal is specifically for Concours. 2 Herald of the Arclight. When this card is sent, you can add a ritual monster or a ritual spell. It's just more search. Golden Cloud Beast Malong. You can target a face-up card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. This is a bounce if you need it. Wind Pegasus. While this card is in while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it and target a card your opponent controls and shuffle it to the deck. So this is a decent send target for like setting up a first turn board. If they're trying to break your board, you can have this in the graveyard, banish it, and shuffle a card to the deck. Nice little tech option. Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon is to help just make Barone, because you can use Diviner of the Herald comboed with sending Herald of the Arclight and Copheris to make this card specifically so you can get Barone out. Omni negate, destroy a card on the field. When this card is sent, you can target a card on the face up on the field, negate it. IP, we play at 1. When this card is sent, you can discard. Discard? You can draw a card and then place 1 card at the bottom of your deck. It's just great for returning or resizing your hand. Dynamundo, one of my favorite cards of all time. If it's special summon, you can target 1 card on the field and 1 ritual monster in your graveyard, shuffle them both to the deck, and then you contribute this and then target a ritual monster and add it to your hand or special summon it. And then 1 SP Little Knight. Apologies on the Wind Pegasus. I don't really use it. But that is the deck. We are going to go ahead and hop into a ranked match with this real fast. But I have a ton of fun with this deck. I love this deck a lot. Like, it has quickly become one of my favorites. It is actually a main of mine, and I love playing this deck. So hopefully we get to show off the deck in a real great fashion for you guys in this quick rank. Next time that we hop into Yu-Gi-Oh, it will probably just be some replays, just showing off some of the deck profiles that we've already done, just so I'm not getting too ahead of myself. All right, so we're going second. Yeah, we are going second, and hopefully this deck is pretty resilient with what it has. If I draw an awful hand here, I'm just gonna. It's not bad. We'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down. This being in my hand really sucks. They're just setting. Oh, all right. Beautiful. All right. Well, let's get this going. So we have Diviner of the Herald. Unfortunately, we have 2, but we're going to go ahead and normal summon that. And since we already have Trias in hand, you can use this effect in hand too, so it's kind of fine. Ash is perfect. Ash is fine. We do not care about Ash Blossom. I'm just going to do this now. I'm just going to chain it now. Tribute it. It's not going to give me the effect for Diviner, but, you know, I could still just make this go a little quicker just by chaining. Yep. And now we get Diviners from Grave. That's most likely an Imperm. That is most likely an Imperm. Okay? We are all right, a quick take two with my opponent just surrendering like that. I want to try and show off, at least try and show off something with the deck before we end out this video. We do prefer to go first. We can play going second, but we do want to go first with this deck. That is the main meat of the deck. All right, good hand. This is a good hand. Yeah, this is a great hand. All right, we're gonna throw this out first. Try and bait out Ash, because I don't really care if this gets hit. I'm not gonna. Well, I might actually. We're gonna play this first. No Ash. Yep, I would love to add a card to my hand. We're gonna go ahead and just grab the recipe book. All right, so he's got something. I think he's got Droll. Okay, we're gonna. If he ashes this, I'm absolutely called dying. Fua. I do care about that. I do care about that. I should have ashed it. That's fine. You know what? It works. All right. So we stop the deadly combo. We're gonna get out you. Okay. We're gonna grab out you. Now we are gonna send. That don't really matter. Yep. We're gonna activate Guru's effect. That was a beautiful draw. Banish this. Get this out. Now we can use Dogmatica. We're gonna go ahead and send away a Herald. And no, I actually really like my hand. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? This is. It's funny. I said before I don't really use Pegasus too much. This is now kind of a case where I'm gonna send the Pegasus just to have it engraved, just in case. You know, Mysterion. All right, let's go ahead and grab. All right, now we could just start. Oh, okay. Well, we unfortunately didn't really get much of a chance to show off the combos. I don't really have too much time to continue recording this video for the night. So I think what we'll end up doing is the next video that we get around will be replacing this first, and then we'll revisit Goblins. But that is the deck list. As you can see, like these first turn hands are pretty strong. I will admit, if we didn't have the Ash Blossom there, I probably would have to cut it a little short. But hey, that's just how Master Duel goes. Let me know what you guys think of the deck list down below in the description. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about Nouvelles. I think this deck is really strong and very underrated. I'm not going to try and push that it's meta. It does have its flaws in that it requires a lot of pieces to get its combos going really good. But when it works and when it has the tools and the gas to go, it is nearly unstoppable. And with a lot of the new support cards that we got, it just gives this deck a lot of extra consistency that I really enjoy. So let me know what you guys think down below in the description, in the comments. I typed the description. I'll talk to y'all later. Happy holidays, everyone. So long.